Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf and welcome to Foundation Friday, where today we are going to be reviewing a brand new foundation. I say brand new, the US have had it for forever. It's slightly new in the UK, it's been around for a few weeks, but it's taken me forever to get round to doing this review. Apologies. Anyway, finally gonna sit down and do it today. This is the Too Faced Born This Way matte. Now, if you are a regular to my channel, you will know that I really like the original Too Faced Born This Way foundation. It's got more of a luminous, natural finish to the foundation, whereas this one, like it says on the bottle, is going to be matte. But first things first, if you are new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I am a qualified esthetician and lover of anything beauty, skincare and makeup. Love, love, love. I upload videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 PM London time, and I'm also on Instagram. If you fancy hopping across and checking me out over there, it's at Pampered Wolf, all lowercase, no spaces. I would really appreciate it if you consider clicking on that subscribe button, coming and joining the Pampered Wolf pack, and also that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Let's do a little bit of bump on this and we'll get some on my face. So this is the Too Faced Born This Way matte foundation. It comes in a glass bottle. It has a pump, just like the original version. Now, unlike the original version, which is smaller and chunkier, this one is thinner and taller so that you can tell the difference. The matte version is £29 in the UK. You get 30 ml worth of product and it comes in 35 different shades. And just like the original, I've gone for the shade Swan in this, which is my winter shade. Now, my skin isn't the shade that it would be in the height of winter yet. So this may be slightly too pale for me, but we'll work with it. This will give a matte finish, a completely matte finish, but it won't be flat matte, it will be a natural matte finish. This is also supposed to be long wearing, very lightweight on the skin. It's got an oil-free formula, so anybody with oily skin, you will probably absolutely love this. It's also waterproof, it's transfer resistant, and like the original Born This Way, it also has coconut water in to replenish any moisture levels in the skin. It's got alpine rose in there as well to brighten the skin, and it's also got glycerin and hyaluronic acid in there to hydrate. So I'm hoping that this one doesn't go super shiny throughout the day. With it being a matte foundation, that would defeat the object for me. But I also don't want it to dry my skin out either. So this is alcohol free, it's also fragrance and essential oil free, and it's also cruelty free. Let's get some of it on. So I've already got all of my skincare products on my face and I've given that plenty of time to sink in before I'm applying the foundation. As per usual, I will apply half with a brush and half with a blending sponge. This is quite a loose product. As you can see, it does run down the back of my hand, so it's not uber stiff, but it's definitely liquidy. Let's pop that on. A little does go a long way, and you do have to be quite quick, but not in a race with yourself, but you know, I wouldn't hang around with this foundation because it does dry down quite quickly. Now, I have quite a lot of dry skin on my face at the moment, so this probably isn't the best foundation for me to be trialing out today, but I was desperate to do this review. So, you know, this is what we're doing, but I just wanted to let you know that I do have a lot of dry patches on my face at the moment, so we are seriously testing this foundation out for anybody with a dry skin. Very quick to apply, effortless to blend out, it's really seamless. I mean, it doesn't look like foundation on my skin at all. Very thin layer. Very thin layer. As you can see, it's not too bad a colour match for me. It does wash me out a little bit. I'm desperate to find a really good matte foundation for the autumn and winter months because I like scarves, and I don't know about you, but I absolutely hate getting foundation rub off on my scarf, so I want something that's transfer proof. I want something that's also waterproof when I've got my scarf all the way around my mouth and it gets a little bit hot and a little bit damp within the scarf. So yeah, I want something that won't rub off on scarves, on high coats, whereas I don't tend to have that problem in the summer, and I much prefer a much glowier look in the summer. But I still want my matte foundation to look natural. And, you know, it does look natural. It just looks like skin. Let's try it with the blending sponge. I've hardly used any of this foundation. There is so much left. I've used the tiniest bit. Now, obviously, you're going to get less coverage with a sponge. I find if you are going to apply with a sponge, you have to really prep the skin really well. I find a primer is better with a sponge application. And that is quite strange for me to say that, but I feel like this is one of those foundations, because it dries down so quickly, it does sit around the pores rather than blending over them. That's what I found. I mean, it's not doing that at the minute, so maybe I'd just not prepped my skin properly, but that has happened to me before when I've tried this foundation out. Maybe my skin was just a little bit too dry at the time. I don't know, let's try around the nose. No, it's doing it around my nose. So let me just zoom you in so you can see with the sponge application how it sat on my nose and how it looks like I've got lots of blackheads on my nose when actually I haven't. They're just my pores, and this is sat around the pores rather than smoothing over the top of them. Whereas on this side, you don't get that with a brush application. So I'm going to switch back to the brush application because I feel like, for me personally, it's the best way to go, because you can really stamp this into the skin and make sure you've got it absolutely everywhere. I'm going to go and put the rest of my products on and I'll be right back. So this is the final look for today. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section below. The only thing that didn't go on seamlessly was my bronzer. I am using a bronzer that's far too dark for my skin at this moment in time. I tried to be really light-handed with it, but I made the mistake of not powdering the area before I applied it to the foundation, and it stuck a little bit. So I've ended up having to over apply just slightly, which was a little bit of a mistake. Anyway, for the purposes of this video, it's fine. We're judging the foundation, not my bronzer. So usually my preference wouldn't be medium to full coverage and it wouldn't be matte. I usually go for something a little bit more glowy, but I really like this. And the reason I like this is because it definitely doesn't look flat. It looks like skin, and to find a matte foundation that will actually do that is really quite impressive. Let me show you this in natural lighting so you can see how flawless my skin looks. So as you can see, this has airbrushed my pores. In fact, it's airbrushed pretty much everything, which matte foundations usually do, but they don't usually look this skin-like when they're doing it. So I really, really like this. It hasn't sat in my pores, but the reason it hasn't sat in my pores or around my pores is because I used brush application. Like I said while I was applying the foundation, if I apply this with a damp blending sponge, it tended to not want to go over my pores. It wanted to sit around them, which made my pores look absolutely humongous. So I would definitely say that the brush application, for me personally, is definitely the way to go. Now, I can touch my face. It doesn't feel tacky at all, which is really nice and bodes well for the transfer resistant test a little bit later on. I haven't powdered this in place either, so not one bit of my face has been powdered apart from my under eyes where I did set my concealer in place. This also doesn't feel heavy at all. And usually when I have a medium to full coverage foundation, I can feel the foundation on my face. A lot of the time when I'm wearing a matte foundation, I can feel tightness on my face. That just has not happened here. It's very lightweight, it's very comfortable to wear, and I can definitely touch my face and there's no tackiness whatsoever. I'm gonna go about my day. I will check in with you a little bit later on and we'll do the transfer resistant test and we'll see how this has worn, because it's supposed to be long wearing. We'll see. Welcome back to the check-in. What a day. This day has been extremely busy. Let me take my glasses off, sorry about that. I've been wearing my glasses all day. My eyes have been stinging like mad, nothing to do with the foundation. I have Beatrice at home because her class bubble's been shut down, so she's now having to isolate for 2 weeks because a member of her class has tested positive. So it's been a little bit of a stressful day. We've been homeschooling and trying to work and trying to run around and make sure Seth's got everything he needs. Anyway, it's been a long day. In fact, it's been over 13 hours since I first checked in with everybody. And as you can see, my face is rather shiny. And this went this way probably after around about 8 hours. So it did last a really long time before my natural oils came through. So that is a serious positive. Also, I like the fact that some matte foundations do go a little bit shinier because it means they're not drying out my skin. This definitely hasn't made my skin dry in the slightest. It hasn't emphasized any dry spots either. Now, obviously I'm looking a bit shiny now, so let's rectify that and just dust this off with a little bit of powder so that you can see that if you do feel like you need to throughout the day, you can just powder this down and it's pretty much perfect again. The foundation has come off my nose where I've been wearing my glasses. It's just because I didn't treat that as normal as I would do if I was going to be wearing my glasses and a high coverage foundation all day. Didn't do that today, so that is my fault. So it has lifted off this area here as I've been wearing my glasses throughout the day. Gosh, I look tired. I look really tired. I am really, really tired. Anyway, back to the foundation. Let me show you this in natural lighting, pre-powdering it down. Okay, so as you can see, this is completely intact. There isn't one bit of the foundation that isn't on my skin, apart from around my nose where I've had my glasses on, which, you know, is inevitable. But this has lasted an incredibly long amount of time. The longer that I've worn it though, and the more my natural oils have seeped through this foundation, the more it's looked like makeup and less like skin, which I don't think is a major problem considering this is a medium to full coverage foundation, but it's something that I wanted to mention. This hasn't looked super skin-like all day. After the 8-hour mark, it started to look more like makeup. Considering that my natural oils came through this though, I can touch my skin, I can wear a scarf. This is transfer resistant even when shiny. So that is a major, major positive. This foundation hasn't sat into any dryness, it hasn't sat in my pores, it also hasn't sat into any fine lines or wrinkles at all. So I'm really happy with this foundation. I wouldn't normally go for a medium to full coverage foundation, but if I did, if I wanted the coverage and I wanted to go out wearing a scarf, wearing a hat, I didn't want it to transfer onto either of those items, this is definitely one of my options because, I mean, this is a great foundation. Let me just show you the transfer test. Let me just get my phone because I've left it over there. 1 second. So let's just press this against my skin. I'm really smushing it against my skin, technical term. I think that is pretty decent. There are some natural oils on the phone, but there is no colour transfer at all. So again, a really good foundation for wearing that scarf, wearing that hat, wearing those high collared coats throughout the winter. And it's really long wearing. I would say that any skin type would be able to get away with this foundation and it would look beautiful on your skin, whether you have a dry skin like me or whether you have an oily skin. If you do have an oily skin, like I said earlier on, I would recommend that you do powder this in place before you go about your daily business. But, you know, if you've got dry skin, I mean, I've really enjoyed wearing this. It hasn't felt super lightweight, like I haven't got anything on my skin, but it's definitely lightweight. And I'm not used to wearing a medium to full coverage foundation, so for me, that's a definite plus. So it's completely pitch black outside. I have no lipstick left on my lips. I'm sure you'll all forgive me. I've just had one of those days where there's just been no time to actually reapply anything. I feel like I've been pedaling really hard and going backwards. Anybody else had one of those days? Oh, it's so frustrating. Anyway, I'm gonna go and take all this off. I'm gonna go and get in my dressing gown, which is my happy place. Hope you found this video helpful and hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.